Welcome back to TPS. Some of the largest contract offers in league history were the ones that were actually rejected. Maybe a player miscalculates his own market and value, or maybe the player is just happy to take less money to end up in a place that would make him more content. Here are 10 of the most insane NFL contract offers in history that were shockingly turned down. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Number 10, Deion Sanders, $12 million from the Dolphins and $17 million from the Saints. After 5 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons, the best cornerback in NFL history entered free agency in 1994. Lots of teams entered the prime-time sweepstakes. The Don Shula and Dan Marino-led Miami Dolphins, a perennial Super Bowl contender, made a serious play for the All-Pro corner. Miami reportedly offered Sanders a 4-year deal worth around $12 million, including a $4 million signing bonus. In fact, Dan Marino restructured his deal so that the Dolphins could fit Sanders under their cap. The New Orleans Saints also pushed hard to land Sanders, offering him a 4-year pact worth $17 million. But Sanders instead took a more modest 1-year, $1.25 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, NFL players obviously didn't make anything close to what the players make today, but even $1.25 million was relatively low for a player of Sanders' caliber at the time. Anywho, it worked out just fine for Sanders. He won the Defensive Player of the Year award in his lone season with the 49ers, helping them defeat the San Diego Chargers in Super Bowl 29. Sanders would then sign a lucrative contract with the Cowboys in 1995 free agency, winning his second Super Bowl ring in Big D. So yes, it all worked out for him in the end. He got his 2 rings and the money. Number 9, Dez Bryant, $30 million from the Ravens. The cap-strapped Dallas Cowboys released Dez Bryant after the 2017 season. Injuries were starting to lead to a decline in production, and he wasn't fully living up to his expensive contract. Bryant was one of the marquee names in the 2018 free agent market, and there was no shortage of interest in number 88. But Dez waited out the market patiently, even rejecting a 3-year, $30 million contract from the Baltimore Ravens, who were on the rise with Lamar Jackson. Nobody wound up signing Bryant until late into the 2018 season when he finally agreed to a 1-year contract with New Orleans. Unfortunately, Bryant suffered a torn Achilles during a practice before even playing a game for the Saints. He went unsigned through the 2019 season too, but again, Bryant simply chose to patiently wait out the right opportunity. And he doesn't seem to have any regrets about turning down a $30 million offer from the Ravens, even though it would have meant playing with a future MVP quarterback. Number 8, Nnamdi Asomugha, $40 million from the Jets. The New York Jets already had the NFL's best cornerback in Darrelle Revis. He was the backbone of Rex Ryan's stingy defense that guided the Jets to consecutive AFC Championship game appearances in 2009 and 10. But the Jets didn't want to settle on great. They wanted that secondary to be one of the best ever. So they made a serious push for Oakland Raiders superstar cornerback Nnamdi Asomugha, the top free agent of the 2011 class. I mean, pairing Asomugha with Revis in 2011 would be like pairing Richard Sherman with Stephon Gilmore in 2019. The Jets reportedly submitted a 4-year offer worth $40 million. However, he wound up taking a more lucrative 5-year, $60 million deal from the Philadelphia Eagles. During the 2011 season, he admitted that he was, quote, really close to joining the Jets. But he simply flopped with the Eagles and never really found his game in their defensive system. He was released after just 2 years. And hey, who knows? If the Jets paired Asomugha with Revis, maybe they wouldn't have become such a train wreck in the final years of Rex Ryan's era. Number 7, Tom Brady, $30 million plus from the Chargers. In the early stages of the 2020 free agency, Tom Brady announced via social media that he was leaving the New England Patriots. It was somewhat hard to grasp at first, but many of us could see it coming for a while. The relationship with head coach Bill Belichick had simply run its course after all. So many teams were mentioned as possible suitors for Brady: the Los Angeles Chargers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tennessee Titans, 49ers, and even the Saints if Drew Brees had retired. But when free agency opened, only the Chargers and Bucs appeared to be serious frontrunners in the Brady sweepstakes. After Brady announced he was leaving the Pats, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported that both clubs offered the GOAT a deal worth $30 million plus, presumably annually. But when all was said and done, Brady accepted the Buccaneers' offer, a shiny 2-year, $50 million contract, every penny guaranteed. Finally, after years and years of taking massive hometown discounts with the Patriots, Brady was being paid what he's worth. Both the Chargers and Bucs had lots to offer, like easygoing head coaches, warm weather, and of course plenty of quality skill position players, but ultimately it was Tampa Bay who came out on top of the TB12 sweepstakes. Number 6, Mike Wallace, $76 million from the Vikings. Speedy wideout Mike Wallace signed a 5-year, $60 million contract with Miami Dolphins in the 2013 offseason. But this wasn't a classic case of a guy just chasing the money in free agency. In an interview with USA Today Sports, his father, Mike Wallace III, revealed that the former Pittsburgh Steelers star turned down a $76 million offer from the Minnesota Vikings. The 2011 Pro Bowler had 2 fairly productive seasons in South Beach, but he couldn't regain that top-notch form we saw in Pittsburgh. In the 2015 offseason, the Dolphins traded Wallace and a 7th-round pick to the Vikings for a 5th-round pick. For Minnesota, that was a much cheaper price than the $76 million they had originally offered him. Wallace played 1 season in Minnesota before he was released. The Vikings are probably happy he didn't end up taking their $76 million offer, seeing how his production wasn't the same outside of Pittsburgh. Number 5, Kirk Cousins, $90 million guaranteed from the Jets. It's very rare for a Pro Bowl quarterback to enter free agency, so it's no wonder that Kirk Cousins garnered so much interest when he hit the open market in 2018. After considering his options, Cousins took a 3-year, fully guaranteed $84 million contract offer from the Minnesota Vikings. The team was coming off of a trip to the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum, and they clearly believed that a simple QB upgrade would help them go a step further and win the Super Bowl. The Vikings weren't the only team that offered Cousins an insane amount of guaranteed money. Turns out the New York Jets, who were desperate for a QB, offered him a fully guaranteed $90 million contract. With Cousins turning them down, the Jets chose to trade up and draft Sam Darnold with the number 3 pick in that draft instead. Cousins played well enough through his first 2 years in Minnie to receive a 2-year, $66 million contract extension. So yeah, he's probably smart to spurn the Jets for the Vikings. Number 4, Albert Haynesworth, $120 million from the Buccaneers. The 2-time Pro Bowler and first-team All-Pro defensive tackle entered the 2009 offseason as one of the most sought-after free agents in NFL history. And 2 teams were keen on making Haynesworth a $100 million man, even though there weren't many of those back in the NFL back then. Haynesworth opted to join Washington on a 7-year deal worth $100 million. If you thought that was a lot of money, well, it turned out that the Bucs happened to offer him even more. Several months after he made his decision, Haynesworth said on Sirius NFL Radio that he turned down a bigger offer from Tampa Bay, a 7-year pact worth $120 million. But Haynesworth explained that he was more intrigued with Washington because of the larger market and wide following. Unfortunately, he simply turned out to be the worst free agent signing in NFL history. Ironically, the Bucs wound up being the final stop of Haynesworth's NFL career. After being let go by the Patriots in the midst of the 2011 season, he played 7 games with the Buccaneers, and that was it for Albert's career. Good thing the Bucs didn't end up having to pay Haynesworth that $120 million, am I right? Number 3, Dak Prescott, $33 million annually from the Cowboys. 2019 marked the best statistical season of Dak Prescott's young career. He set career highs in passing yards and passing touchdowns with 4,902 and 30 respectively. Prescott picked a good year to turn in such a season. It just so happened to be the final year of his rookie contract, too. And apparently, the Dallas Cowboys were super keen on locking him up long-term in the early stages of the 2019 campaign. Clarence E. Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram reported that the 2 sides were close to reaching a deal that would pay Prescott around $33 million annually. However, number 4 decided he wanted more money, and the deal never materialized. Chris Sims of NBC Sports later reported that the Cowboys offered Prescott a 5-year, $175 million pact, but his agent and the team rejected this report. At any rate, Prescott decided that $33 million annually wasn't enough. He was given the $31.4 million franchise tag for the 2020 season, giving Dak a chance to further set himself up for an absolute mega deal in 2021. Sadly, Dak was lost for the 2020 season after suffering a scary ankle injury in Week 5, but on the bright side, if the Cowboys' offense sputters without him, it could force Jerry Jones to pay his franchise quarterback this upcoming offseason. Number 2, Le'Veon Bell, $70 million from the Steelers. From 2014 to 17, Le'Veon Bell was the best running back in football, and the Steelers wanted to pay him like it. Hoping to reach a long-term deal before the deadline with Bell, the Steelers reportedly offered him a giant 5-year contract worth $70 million in the 2018 offseason. But he rejected it and was seemingly prepared to play out the year on the $14.5 million franchise tag, or so we thought. Turns out that wasn't the case after all, as Bell decided to sit out the entire season, believing he would receive more in 2019 free agency. Oops. Bell actually had to settle on a 4-year, $52.5 million deal with the Jets. Not only did he lose out on a lot of money, but he went from a perennial playoff contender to one of the league's saddest franchises. Looking back, one has to think he regrets not taking that $70 million offer. And number 1, Richard Sherman, $20 million, guaranteed from the Lions. The Seattle Seahawks released the All-Pro corner in the 2018 offseason, believing that he was well past his playing prime, but there was no shortage of interest in the self-proclaimed best corner in the game. Sherman wound up signing a 3-year, $39 million deal with the Seahawks' main rival, the 49ers. Sherman's deal was full of incentives with very minimal guarantees. Ahead of Super Bowl 54, he revealed to Dave Lombardi of The Atlantic that he actually turned down a more lucrative deal from the Lions, one that guaranteed him $20 million. Sherman explained that he didn't want to go to the Lions to, quote, lose football games. He backed up his talk and had another excellent 2019 season, earning Pro Bowl and second-team All-Pro honors by helping San Fran reach Super Bowl 54. Many laughed at Sherman for taking a deal with very little guaranteed money, but hey, give the man some credit. The future Hall of Famer knew what he was doing the whole time. What other insane NFL contract offers were turned down? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below if you know some. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, now's a great time to do that by hitting that subscribe button down there. If you like the video, we'd really appreciate it. And last but not least, tune in to TPS every single day for more cool videos. We'll see you next time.